Today we moved 5 hours from Sonoyta, Arizona, all the way up to Cottonwood, Arizona, and we want to show you what it looks like. So let's go. Travel days are every 2 to 3 weeks, and while that seems like the life, and I cannot lie, it works for us, but it does require some work and a little money spent. But at the end of the day, we wouldn't trade it for anything, and we want to share some lessons that we have learned along the way. One of the biggest things for travel day for Jess and I is getting everything cleaned up first. And we have like a little bit of a routine that we have. You know, we clean everything, pack everything, and then hitch everything, and then get on the road. So first, let's go ahead and get to cleaning. We start with the bedroom, just making up the bed, like little stuff, sweeping, all that good stuff, and then we work our way out into the living room. All right, so the bedroom is good to go now. We're moving on to the living room. And the only things we really have to do here is just sweep, mop up a little bit, and we're gonna move the computer right here over to the bedroom, and we're just gonna move Kenai's cage. Not move it anywhere, we're just gonna pack it up and just kind of put it in the center here. But yeah, that's really it. The biggest thing when you pack up the inside of an RV is making sure everything is fastened down that should be fastened down. Like the chairs, the stools, the shower, the door to the bathroom, that needs to be fastened down as well, because one thing we have learned is that if you leave anything to chance, it's not gonna go your way. You're gonna come back in with scratches, bumps, dings, those types of things, and everything's gonna be a mess. So really nail that one part of packing up and you'll be good to go. So we're almost done on the inside, and one of our last steps is to bring in the slides. And one of the pro tips that we do have for that, and something we've learned personally, is have the other person in the room while you're bringing in the slides, just to make sure there's nothing caught up underneath the slides, because these things are powerful. They will crush anything in the way, and you could also damage the slides in the process. So let's go ahead and bring them in. Now that we got the inside packed up, we're gonna go ahead and move to the outside where we got our wheel blocks, chocks, leveling items. We got our sewage, we're gonna start with that. We're gonna go ahead and empty out all our tanks. You do not want to be traveling on any full tanks. That's just gonna burn more gas and just put more load on your truck. So we're gonna get that emptied out, and we're going to pack up our water hose, power cords, sewage, all those items, and we're gonna get our dog's accessories packed up as well. We have everything packed up. Now it's just time to get the hitch ready, or it's time to get the truck hitched up. And since we got a little bit of an angle we got to go at, we can't really just pull it straight backwards. When we came over here, we had to set the rig up at least a few times just to kind of get it perfect against this log over here, but we can't just pull it straight off because there's a bunch of trees that way. So what we have to do is just kind of come in at an angle like this, hitch it up, and pull it off that way. So don't laugh at us while we do this. Always double check this, because this is what connects to your pin. All right, there we go. Last thing you want to do before you take off is make sure all your doors are locked. Also make sure your tankless water heater panel is good, or just make sure your water heater panel is good, because last time this flew off. This is a new one, we had to replace it. These are bug screens for our exhaust. Just make sure all your locks are good. Make sure nothing's gonna fly open, because you are driving 65 miles an hour down the road. Make sure all of these little connections up. See there, we missed one, so that could just easily fly open. I'm gonna twist that until we get it. All right, so we're good to go. We're just gonna keep on checking. But this fell off, so we gotta get a new one. So we are good to go. Alrighty. We couldn't get positioned the way we initially thought, so we ended up having just to go straight on and backing the rig up and then just pulling out that way. We got some questionable trees right here that might scrape the sides. So what I'm gonna do is have my trusty partner Jessica right here kind of guide me through to make sure we're not gonna scrape anything.
And luckily the ranch had a secondary driveway where you could just pull them through instead of having to make a big U-turn and trying to turn it all around. I think we had one little scrape of a branch, but other than that, we lucked up and was able to pass on through. One of the many things we love about these hip camp stays is that it offers beautiful scenic views all the way around. And this is our view on the way out, and next stop is northern Arizona.
Over, try to get some lunch, and Jessica has walked all the way to the Chick-fil-A all the way over there. And the one thing you have to know about Jessica is she loves her Chick-fil-A. So that really brings me to my next point I want to talk to you guys about, and it's knowing your rig size, because the thing about driving a big rig is you can't fit everywhere. You can't just pull up and go through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. You gotta watch your bridges, you gotta watch the street lights. I mean, there's a lot of different little facets that you got to think about just before you hit the road. So yeah, just want to let you know, just make sure you think about it, make sure you know where you're going, and when you try to stop for lunch or gas or something like that, just make sure you can fit.
Hit this one.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was in me.
I know you big and jazz. I know. She gets so grumpy when she doesn't get all the attention. Just gotta make it out of here. What you think? We just kind of pull this way, make a U-turn, and then go that way? Like, is that the deal?
I was thinking you back up and then go that way.
Huh. So something else I want to talk to you guys about, and it's gas stations, and how do you pick one? How do you enter in one? I feel like it's a small science, especially for RVers carrying a big rig. You definitely have to have like an approach angle, like everything else. You can't just like bust in there and whip it out. Take it slow, is my method. And I always fill up every half tank to a quarter of a tank, because you have to be very selective of which gas stations you're gonna go into, because some of these awnings, they're too low for you and they'll scrape off the top of your RV. So you don't want that to happen. You gotta be very selective. So that's why I always start looking about every half tank to every quarter of a tank. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Just make sure you begin with the end in mind. And what that means is that whenever you pull in one, always think about how you're gonna exit out of it. Like, just don't pull in it and then you get stuck there because either the front of it or where you gotta go is too crowded, or it's got cinder blocks, or like it just stops. Make sure it's got plenty of room to pull out, or you got plenty of room to back up, so you never get stuck and you never delaying your travels. Another thing that's cool about some trucks that I think it's on newer models is that it will give you the estimated mileage for towing. So this is normally about 500. Let's see if I can get it back to about 500. So that's normal. Oh, no, it won't switch just yet. I think I have to turn it off and turn it back on. But that is your towing mileage. So that just tells you it's an accurate mileage instead of having to always guess.
When you live life on the road, it's easy to become caught up in the small details and let it overwhelm you, but it's important that you never forget why you're out here in the first place. To travel. This isn't meant to be a constant vacation, and it's okay when you arrive at a new spot not to want to do anything for a week. Jess and I go through that as well. We plan our outings very strategically to make sure we're not burning ourselves out. And if this helps you out in any way, give a thumbs up to this video and consider subscribing to the channel. We'll see you on the road in our next video.
Who has a 30 amp site with a 30 amp plug-in? Us. So that's why I'm gonna grab us one, and hopefully that resolves the issue.
We've got a number with this.